The black nail polish caught the studio lights as the teenager tried to hide behind their dark hair during Johnny Depp's interview about playing misunderstood characters. Ellen was discussing the actor's latest film when she noticed the young person in the fourth row pulling at their sleeves while tears streamed down their heavily made-up face. What happened next would prove that sometimes the most important transformations don't happen on movie sets, but in moments when someone who's always felt like an outsider finally meets another outsider who learned how to turn difference into power. It was an electric Tuesday afternoon at the Ellen DeGeneres show, and the studio buzzed with an unusual energy. 400 audience members had gathered to see one of Hollywood's most enigmatic actors discuss his craft. Ellen, striking in a sophisticated black blazer with subtle dark silver threading, was thoroughly enjoying her conversation with Johnny Depp, who sat with characteristic intensity in the guest chair, wearing a perfectly tailored charcoal suit with his signature accessories, his presence filling the studio with that blend of mystery and authenticity that had made him beloved by generations of fans who felt like outsiders themselves. "Johnny," Ellen said, leaning forward with genuine fascination, "you've built a career playing characters who are different, who don't fit in. Edward Scissorhands, Jack Sparrow, Sweeney Todd. What draws you to these outsider roles?" Johnny's eyes took on that thoughtful quality that made his performances so compelling. "Ellen, I think there's something beautiful about characters who don't conform, who see the world differently. They're often the ones who get misunderstood, judged, even attacked for being who they are. But they're also the ones who change everything, who show us new ways of being human." The audience listened with the kind of respectful attention that Johnny's sincerity commanded. This wasn't typical celebrity promotion. This was a conversation about the human experience of being different. "And you've talked about feeling like an outsider yourself growing up," Ellen continued. "How did you learn to embrace that instead of trying to change it?" "It took time," Johnny said honestly. "When you're young and you don't fit the mold, it can feel like the world is against you. But eventually, I realized that the things that made me different were actually my strengths. The sensitivity, the creativity, the refusal to be like everyone else. Those weren't flaws to fix. They were gifts to develop." That's when Ellen noticed them. In the fourth row, slightly to the left, sat a teenager who appeared to be around 17. They had long black hair with purple streaks that partially covered their face, dramatic dark makeup, black clothing, and several silver rings on their fingers. Their name was Alex Chen, though Ellen didn't know it yet. What caught Ellen's attention was the way Alex was staring at Johnny with such intense recognition, such desperate need, while tears streamed down their face, leaving dark tracks through their carefully applied makeup. Alex kept pulling at the sleeves of their black hoodie, and Ellen could see they were struggling with something much deeper than typical teenage emotions. Ellen's instincts, honed through 20 years of reading her audiences, told her this wasn't someone inspired by Johnny's words about embracing difference. This was someone drowning in the consequences of being different. "Johnny," Ellen said gently, "hold that thought about turning difference into strength. I think someone in our audience needs to hear this conversation right now." Johnny followed Ellen's gaze toward Alex, his expression immediately shifting from entertainer to deeply concerned human being as he recognized the pain in the teenager's eyes. Ellen stood up from her chair and took several steps toward the audience. "Sweetheart in the fourth row, are you okay?" Alex looked up, startled and terrified by the sudden attention of 400 people and multiple cameras. They tried to sink deeper into their seat, clearly wanting to disappear. "I'm fine," Alex whispered, their voice barely audible. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't be crying. Ellen walked down the steps that separated the stage from the audience, something she did only when every instinct told her someone was in crisis. "What's your name, honey?" Ellen asked, now standing directly in front of Alex's row. "Alex Chen. I'm 17. Ellen knelt down in the aisle beside Alex's row, her black blazer spreading around her as she created a safe space in what must have felt like overwhelming exposure. Alex, I can see you're hurting. Can you tell me what's going on? Alex's composure cracked completely. Everyone at school hates me. They call me a freak, a weirdo, a Satan worshiper because of how I dress, how I look. Yesterday, someone spray-painted "Kill yourself" on my locker. The studio fell into that profound silence that happens when hundreds of people confront the reality of cruelty hiding behind ordinary teenage life. From the stage, Johnny Depp stood up immediately. Without being asked, without consulting producers, he walked down to join Ellen and Alex. This celebrity interview had just become something infinitely more important. Johnny approached Alex with the careful respect of someone who understood exactly what they were experiencing. "Alex," Johnny said softly, kneeling beside Ellen. "How long has this been going on?" "Since middle school," Alex replied, their voice growing stronger despite their tears. "It got worse when I started expressing myself more, wearing what I wanted, doing my makeup how I liked it. My parents keep telling me if I just dressed normal, it would stop. But this is who I am." Johnny's expression had shifted into something Ellen had rarely seen from any celebrity guest. A fierce, protective energy that spoke to something deeply personal. "Alex, I want you to look at me," Johnny said with quiet intensity. "Do you know what I see when I look at you?" Alex shook their head, unable to meet Johnny's eyes. "I see an artist. I see someone brave enough to express their authentic self in a world that punishes authenticity. I see someone who refuses to be invisible, even when it would be easier." Ellen felt tears welling in her own eyes as she watched this exchange unfold. "But it hurts so much," Alex whispered. "Sometimes I think about what they wrote on my locker. Sometimes I think maybe they're right. Maybe the world would be better without freaks like me." Johnny's composure cracked. "Alex, listen to me very carefully. I've played Edward Scissorhands, a character who was different, who was feared, who was misunderstood. Do you know what that character taught me?" Alex looked up at Johnny for the first time, their dark-rimmed eyes wide with attention. "He taught me that the people who are different, who see beauty where others see strangeness, who create art where others see chaos, we're not the problem. We're the solution. We're the ones who make the world more interesting, more beautiful, more alive." Ellen stood up slowly, her heart breaking for this teenager who was carrying such heavy weight. "Alex, have you talked to anyone about these thoughts, about what was written on your locker?" "My parents think it's just teenage drama. The school says boys will be boys, kids will be kids. Nobody takes it seriously because I look different, so they think I'm asking for it." Johnny reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out something unexpected. A small silver ring with an intricate design. "Alex," Johnny said, "this ring has been with me through some of my darkest times, when I felt like the world didn't understand me, when I questioned whether being different was worth the pain. I want you to have it." He placed the ring in Alex's hand. "Every time you look at this, I want you to remember that Edward Scissorhands didn't change himself to fit in. Jack Sparrow didn't apologize for being different. They found their power in their uniqueness." Ellen began removing her black blazer. "Alex, this blazer has been with me through some of my most important interviews. But today, it's witnessing something more important than any celebrity story. It's witnessing courage." She placed the blazer around Alex's shoulders. "You came here today wearing your authentic self, even though you knew people might judge you. That's not weakness, Alex. That's rebellion. That's revolution." But it was Johnny's next words that broke through Alex's despair completely. "Alex, I want you to know something. Every character I've ever played that people remember, that people love, they were all outsiders. They were all different. They were all misunderstood. And they were all powerful because they refused to be anything other than who they were. Johnny stood up and addressed the cameras directly. If there are young people watching this who feel like freaks, who feel like they don't belong, who feel like the world would be better without them, please know that you are the artists, the innovators, the ones who will change everything. Don't you dare let small-minded people convince you to dim your light. The moment that brought the entire studio to tears came when Ellen asked Alex what they wanted to say to other kids who were being bullied for being different. "I want them to know that they're not alone," Alex said, their voice stronger now, Johnny's ring glinting on their finger. "I want them to know that the people who hurt us for being different, they're afraid of our power. And I want them to know that we're going to survive, and we're going to be magnificent." Johnny's eyes filled with tears. "That's exactly right, Alex. You're going to be magnificent." 3 months later, Alex Chen appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres show again, but this time they were glowing with confidence and surrounded by a group of students from their school who had formed an anti-bullying alliance. Johnny Depp, who had stayed in regular contact with Alex, appeared via video to celebrate their progress and announce the launch of an arts program specifically designed to support creative young people who felt like outsiders. The segment sparked a national conversation about bullying based on appearance and self-expression, and the importance of protecting young people's right to be themselves. Alex became an advocate for LGBTQ+ youth and alternative expression, speaking at schools about the power of authenticity and the danger of forcing conformity. Ellen learned that day that her job wasn't to interview famous people about their latest projects. Her job was to create moments where teenagers could find their power, where difference could be celebrated instead of punished, and where someone feeling suicidal could remember they were meant to be magnificent. Johnny Depp learned that the most important performances happen not on movie sets, but in moments when his own experience of being an outsider gives someone else permission to not just survive, but thrive. And Alex Chen learned that sometimes the darkest moments happen right before you meet the people who help you understand that your difference isn't a flaw to fix, but a superpower to develop. Because the most powerful characters aren't always the ones in movies. Sometimes they're the ones sitting in high school cafeterias, wearing black makeup and refusing to apologize for seeing the world through different eyes, knowing they're going to change everything.